Hello, I'm Helen, and today I'm going to talk about a little bit about the cardinal points and some of the ideas that fed into them and have influenced the way they're used in astrology today. Now, the astrological chart that we most recognize is a circle. It's a mandala, if you like. It's a bit like a compass rose, and that is very like a compass rose, and there's a reason for that. Now this circle is split into four quadrants by two lines. The first is a horizontal line, which has got two very important points on either end. It's got the ascendant, where the sun, the moon, the stars, and the planets all rise, and it's got the descendant in the west, where they set. And we've got a line that crosses that, which has the midheaven at the top, where everything culminates, and the eye see the lower heaven, the point underneath our feet where the sky is hidden from us, because the earth is in the way. Now these lines are the angles and the points of the cardinal points, the start of the movable houses, and they are very important and personal in astrological interpretation today. But these points, in denoting the directions, the north, south, the east and the west, are not exactly personal because they arise out of the Earth's magnetic field. They are reference points. These are hinges on which everything depends and which we have to take note of in order to orientate ourselves. There are other reference points in various cultures. Various cultures might have mountains or seas or lakes as environmental orientational points, which enable them to find their way and that kind of thing. Now, with the agricultural revolution, we began to have to find reference points for different things like navigation and also for agriculture, because we needed to know when to plant, when to leave things fallow and that kind of thing. And we needed to pay attention to things like the winds, and because they would tell us about what weather we could expect. In Greece, there's really only two seasons. You've got the hot season, which is dominated by the southern winds, which can be desiccating and destructing of crops. And these were associated with the rise of Syria in the Fertile Crescent. And then you've got the cold season, which is dominated by the north winds, which are very cold and wet and can be destructive in their own account. So you have the seasons. Now, in ancient Greece, they had different sorts of calendars which served different functions. So you've got the lunar calendar, which had to do with civic and religious affairs because it gave qualities to the various days, which enabled the people to decide when to fast or feast or to do various different festivals and things like that. And there was a crossover between that and the agricultural calendar, but they weren't together. Now, the agricultural calendar was based in the sidereal year, or in other words, the time it takes for the Earth to orbit the Sun in respect of the fixed stars. So the fixed stars became very important, or were very important. So you'd have the four directions marked by Aldebaran, Antares, Fomalhaut, and I can't remember the other one, Regulus. And so they would mark the seasons, and they would tell you about what things needed to be planted or what activities needed to be done. Now, as I said, the Greeks have two seasons, but there's also the idea, which comes from the Egyptian culture, of the horoscopus, the marker of the hour, which is when which is the point that comes over the horizon and tells you, what's rising at that time, and it tells you sort of what time it is in the day and what activity you need to do. So you've also got in this, with the rise of agriculture, the movement of people, their migration and the need for navigation, and that was dealt with again by the sidereal year, by the risings and settings of various stars. So in the angles, in the cardinal points, we have the idea of the horoscopus, the marker of the hour. We've got the idea of seasons and the sidereal year. We've got the fixed stars, and we've got the compass points, which come out of the Earth's movement through the skies and her relationship to the fixed stars beyond and the solar system closer to us. So the angles are very personal, but they refer to the outside environment. Thank you very much. See you next time.